administration program, basically right now we have hovering around 125 students. There's 3 full-time faculty. And our program is divided into 3 emphases. So there's a community emphasis, a outdoor recreation emphasis, and a tourism emphasis. And we have at least a 4th emphasis, which is self-design, but so that's basically for students that want to kind of design their own degree if you want. We often talk about recreation administration as being a discovery major, so often it's students that come to campus and are students in psychology, sociology, in communication and business, and then they realize that they want to specialize in recreation, and they come and switch to that. It's not often that we get freshmen directly,
right.
So often people transfer to the major, and we get a lot of transfer students from other colleges too. Our degree is very hands-on. Very little lecture where you're going to listen to a professor talk for 15 minutes, an hour or more. So all the classes that you see, the core classes, basically all the students have to take that, and we have an emphasis mainly on like programming recreation activities, making activities that are generally healthy for the community, that are inclusive, so that's a big part of it. And we pretty much in every class work with the community in some way or another. So in the inclusive community class, or inclusive recreation class, the students go and like participate in different events related to inclusive recreation. So they do things like they work with Special Olympics. We have a class that goes and works with an elderly population and create leisure activities for them. In the programming class, they do different activities. Like for this semester, they put on an event for Halloween. They're putting on an event for Thanksgiving. Let's see what else we have. They put on a bocce ball tournament. So you learn how to create these events, and then you go and actually do them. We have a lot of classes that develop leadership skills also, and we do that again through hands-on stuff. So you'll have there's the class Rec 210, so that's a recreation leadership class that works on having activities where like students can develop this leadership style if you want, and learn how to like be in front of an audience and have these different activities that are going to help them put on different event if you want. All the students have to do a business emphasis. You have to have 12 units of business, and then a lot of our students decide to do a business minor, and that's something that we find that employers really like when they have those business units. Then they can go and apply that to their profession. All of our students are required to do an internship. It's 270 hours, and I'd say for the most part they do it outside the area, and then depending on your emphasis, people do it with a variety of businesses. So we've had students do internships with rafting companies, tourism companies, camps, adventure businesses, fitness, like exercise fitness type places. So we kind of cover it all, and that's what's really nice about the rec major is that it's one of the largest industry in the U.S., and so the amount of jobs when you graduate is, in some ways, is a little overwhelming because there's so much work that, and we're such a broad field that for students to go and pick a job, I know a lot of students have this problem where they want to do everything. I mean, it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
Compared to if you can't find work. So now if we look at the 3 different emphases, actually, I'll talk about the dive leadership program first, since we're next to the pool. So that's actually not on that sheet because the program is so popular right now that we're actually not necessarily advertising it usually, but we're happy to have students come into it. And so they do some sessions in the pool, and then they go generally down the Fort Bragg and Mendocino, and they do sessions in the ocean there. The program here is world renowned. When I was at a different college, people knew about the dive leadership program here because for the same amount of hours that you would go and get a scuba diving certification, let's say at a resort, you like to travel abroad, here you get something like 10 times more practice. So students that come out of this program not only know how to scuba dive well, but they can teach other people how to do it safely. And that's a really big piece of it. A lot of the students that are in more science-based classes also will take the dive leadership program, and then a lot of our rec students will do it as their emphasis. So that's for dive leadership. Now, we also utilize the pool with a class that we have that's called HSU Fit, and it's a really sweet community program. So there's families in the community that have children with disabilities, and we partner them up with a recreation student. So in spring, we have this class that starts after the spring break, and the students come and they learn how to work with students with disabilities and their families. And did you do it?
No, I've seen some students doing that.
Yeah,
it's like really slow, like.
Yes, it's really awesome because they bring the siblings, so let's say you have a sibling with a disability, so you would be paired up with a rec student, and then they play different activities. During that time, the parents can go and do things on campus, like they can participate in a Zumba class, or they can go and utilize the gym, and then the siblings and the rec students and the kinesiology students work on different recreation activities. So sometimes it's in the pool, sometimes it's in the gym, right? Sometimes they do stuff outdoors. So again, we try to do things where, we're hands-on and we practice what we would want the students to do when they leave our classes. Let's see, what else? So the inclusive community emphasis, beside HSU Fit, there's a Healthy Communities and the Leisure and Aging class, and both of those classes do things with community members. And the students go in the community and visit different facilities, for example, Boys and Girls Club or a different community center, right? And they put on the tournament specifically for a different type of population. The tourism emphasis, I don't necessarily have anything to show you per se, because it mainly happens in the classroom, but also, again, they do things with community members. So this semester, the professor, Era's the tourism emphasis professor, she has the students work with Humble Maid, and Humble Maid is an organization in Humboldt County that basically has all these different products that are made in Humboldt. So when you buy, the Dick and Taylor chocolate, or you drink a beer from the area, or soap that's made in the area, that's all Humble Maid. And so the tourism students are working with that organization to create a marketing plan and kind of programming plan for them, right? So we're always trying to apply whatever we do in class with communities. I'm going to take you to the outdoor gear rooms. We can talk a little more about the outdoor emphasis also. That sound good? Okay. We're connected with them in the ways that, so we have this program called the Outdoor Assistantship, and students that want to be outdoor leaders and that want to either own their own outdoor business one day or guide students or participants in the outdoors can participate in this program where they assist on trips with center activities, and then they take classes within the outdoor program. And that's a really cool thing, because since we're so hands-on, one of the things that we realize with all the classes and our students is that the ones that get the jobs are the ones that have all these opportunities outside of the class and that build, this volunteer work and the things that you do when, in the summer and after school. So with the Outdoor Assistantship, they're building all this practice leading trips. And so we do a couple of things. Actually, if you one of these here, and it's probably hard to see, but that's a topo map of Mount Shasta. And so the winter adventure class, we come in, so we drive about 4 hours to the base of Mount Shasta, and then the students snowshoe in to the southeast side of Mount Shasta, and then we camp there for 4 nights. And the students learn how to live in the snow. We look at different avalanche theories. We go and snowshoe around there. We practice orienteering. We talk about risk management in the winter. Students learn how to build snow shelters. So it's pretty cool class, and we've been really lucky in the last 2 years. We've had some really good snow in Mount Shasta, so that's been a lot of fun. The students also in classes go on backpacking trips. So this is where the kind of this room comes in handy. We give the students all the group equipment for classes. So, so we'll teach, we recommend that the students take classes, whoops, I just locked it. Right, so students learn how to deal with risk management stuff, right? They do the wilderness first responder, wilderness first aid. We teach all the students, we have all the cooking equipment, so students learn how to bake and cook in the backcountry, right? And then we teach them how to use all the stoves that are used again in the professional types of programs. So a lot of students will come in and will have camp before, but they don't necessarily know the professional standards for doing it. So all the classes go standards for that area, for that industry. We have a class called Expedition Planning and Practice. And that's probably, in terms of the outdoor emphasis, that's one, I think was one of the coolest classes that we have, because the students come in and they make, based on like a certain amount of money that I give them and how far they can drive, they make choices as to where they want to go for their expedition. And so every year the students decide on an expedition for spring break, and then they plan the whole expedition, and then they go on the expedition with me and another co-instructor, and they co-lead the expedition, if you want. Last year we went to Death Valley, so we spent 8 days backpacking in Death Valley. The year before that we were in the Warner Mountains in the northeast of California. We've been in the Ventana Wilderness and in Big Sur, right? So it's really cool because the students have the ownership over that class, and then they also get to practice all the skills that go with outdoor leadership. Let's see, what else? I'm looking at my little, some of the classes will help the students get certification. So in Expedition, the students can get an outdoor leadership certificate, right, from the Wilderness Education Association, and that's a nice thing for students to put on their resume. When the students take environmental education, they get a certificate of training with Project WET. And so they learn how to teach different environmental education classes. And then there's a bunch of other opportunities that come. They can get a Leave No Trace Trainer certificate if they want to. When they do the dive leadership, they get their training and their certification with the scuba diving, right? So a bunch of things that students can add to their resume. And that's about it. I know there's a lot of things in here that it's kind of hard to, like, we actually use this stuff for like challenge courses. There's a bunch of platforms in here that we take out for challenge course. You know, and then we got some climbing gear in there. We teach students how to use a bear canister, so you know, we're a little bit safer in the forest and making sure that bears are not getting to our food and things like that. I think that's about it.
Any questions?
Oh, I had a question.
Sure.
When you talked about how rec majors are, they have to take an internship, that's, you guys provide that, right? Like, you have that program where they can choose where they want to do an internship?
So there's kind of two ways you could go at it. So the students can either create their own internship.
Okay.
So we have certain criteria that students have to meet. And so I'd say about half of our students find a location that we haven't, like, we don't have an affiliation with. And then we set up an internship with that affiliation or that organization. And then another half pick internships that have already been done, right? So like, we often have students go and do an internship with, there's a rafting company on 299, right? So we've set up a place with them. We know like students are gonna go and do an internship there. Students often do an internship with Center Activities, right? With the city of Eureka. But we're constantly creating new internships. Like right now, the city of Blue Lake will probably be hiring an intern that's gonna help with like the program coordination and the marketing in spring. You know, I have an internship right now with Outward Bound California, and we've never had a student go there yet, but we have some students eyeing that place. You know, someone else yesterday was telling me that they found a horseback riding business near the Mad River Hospital, and they offer horseback riding tours in the area, and so they want to set up an internship with that, and that totally works for us. Yeah, so that's what's really cool. You know, like we want the students to find a place that's really interesting to them, and that's passion. And often the cool thing is the students go on these internships and then they end up working there when they graduate, you know, or they get an amazing letter of reference, or you know, they get a lot of experience from that. So I think it's a big part of the program is the students doing that.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, I had one more question.
Sure.
For how, so you said it's a discovery major. How, if people are transferring to it, how hard do you think it is to get into the major itself?
So it's not hard. Like, we don't have any prerequisites.
Oh, cool.
Any students that want to transfer into rec, as long as you're interested in the program, you can transfer into it. And generally, if a student comes in, so let's say they're at HSU and you know, they decide after a year or two that they want to switch, generally it's pretty easy for us to transfer units. And especially in business, I've had students transfer from business and within a year they were done with their degree. Because most of our classes don't have prerequisites. Like, we have kind of a preference that students take them in a certain order, but if a student doesn't, it's fine. It does. And so that's one nice thing about the program is we actually have one of the highest, I think we're the second quickest graduation rate on campus, if I remember correctly, so don't quote me on that one, but it's something like that. And something like third in terms of job placement, because we're so quick at pushing students through. And I don't think it's because, not necessarily that rec is easy, and that's actually a message I do want people to hear.
Yeah.
We demand a lot of our students. Group work is not easy, you know, and we do a lot of that. You know, and we want the students to be professional rec, you know, leaders. But I think students really love the program, and so they're generally pretty invested in their classes. And
That's so sick. Okay, that's cool. All the questions I have.
other questions? I'm sure I could keep talking about this, but hopefully that helps a little bit as to what the program is and what we do. You know, I mean, there's some leadership, some health, you know, some tourism, and the self-emphasis also is really nice because sometimes students maybe want to focus in one area that we don't offer, and we work with them to create that. So,
That's so, okay, cool.
okay.